we've always had homeless. We've always had our share. Generally, they were residents of the area. And just to speak to Pastor Ann, in terms of the shelters, when you speak to the homeless in the park, they don't want to go in the shelters. They are afraid of the shelters. So they prefer to stay outside. And in terms of let's get our facts and not go through, and let's not jump to innuendo, there are a tremendous amount of programs that have always been offered here. Project Outreach is a fabulous program. It not only feeds them, it helps them to get back. And also this place here. I mean, they reach out to their own community, to the Polish, to those that don't speak English. It's more, I think it's more a process of educating, not only just feeding. You should feed anyone who hasn't been fed. That goes to anyone, drunk, sober, whatever you want. As for the building, again, in terms of facts, what is that building zoned, and what is the zoning requirement for a homeless shelter? That's what I would like to know.
It's my understanding that building is zoned, I think it's M1. I think that's
M31.
M31.
It's a heavy manufacturing.
It's zoned manufacturing. As far as I know, you can put a homeless facility in an M31 zone. As far as I know. No, they still have it. Yeah, they still have M3 zones. As far as I know, and that's something I can kind of get back to you on. But if they needed a zoning change to do this, they would have approached. I mean, they'd be in a much different situation because we'd be holding all the cards.
It's the same thing with the hotel. If you go Greenpoint Avenue, on the other side of the bridge, there is a brand new hotel on the left-hand side. They don't need a zoning change. You can put a hotel or a homeless shelter in a manufacturing zone as of right.
My name is Lauren Adams.
Sorry, you go ahead.
Okay. So, if there's a fair share law, I guess my question is, how did they decide to locate this facility here when clearly we've already converted with a lot of facilities that benefit the whole city? Did they explain that to you at all?
It's not a law, basically.
So it's just an idea.
It's a policy. It's a policy, but it's not always followed, and it's very convoluted, and it has no teeth. Essentially, when the Charter Revision Commission met this past year, we all voted on these ballot measures this year. One of the issues that we were pressing for them to consider is some real strong fair share initiative that would make it so that they would go through a much more rigorous public review process in terms of fair share. They essentially had the way that this came about was that, as far as I know, is that this owner of the building, this was prior to I think this loft law being passed, approached DHS and said, I have a building, I got these tenants I don't really want to keep in here, or like to get rid of, and I can evict them anytime because they're not protected under the law, and I want to put the owner approached DHS about it as far as I know.
That building has been for sale for a couple of years.
Right. It was sold. I'm not sure. I think it's still up for sale, but I'll look into that. Yes, sir.
I live a block away from this facility, and I've been told by a reliable source that the owner has sold the building to the city. So what do you do? Fight City Hall now?
I don't think that the building has been sold to the city.
Well, I've heard from a reliable source.
Yeah, I don't think that DHS has. To be honest with you, I don't think that DHS has the money to buy it. I don't think. No, what I think that DHS will do is they will contract it out. They will essentially lease it, but they do not purchase the buildings. And that would be something that I would go bonkers about if that happens. So.
Now, also, are they going to have any convicted felons in this facility?
Well, I imagine that it's certainly possible because they can't be. You have in New York City you have a right to shelter, so you wouldn't because of a criminal record you would not be it would not have an impact one way or another. You couldn't be denied shelter because of a criminal record. So the short answer is yes. Yes.
Well, the perfect storm would be the Roach Motel, we call it, on Clay and McGinnis, hooking up with these people. They advertise 200 beds. How many in a bed? You know, I don't trust them. And it's ridiculous. If you're going to try and fight City Hall, you'll be there a long time, you know?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what happens. I mean, and look, I've made it very clear to them that I'm fighting. The administration wants us to happen. I'm going to fight the administration every step of the way. I mean, somebody once, I mean, just from my perspective, somebody mentioned that the role of a council member is to advocate for your neighborhood at City Hall, not to advocate for City Hall in your neighborhood.
The Salvation Army had a facility right over the bridge, and I think they closed it because they couldn't handle the crime. There were men and women in that facility too. They're hanging on a bridge selling dope and stuff like that. We got enough of that, you know. We don't need more. So what are we getting into here? You know?
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay.